Max Verstappen has just lived through the most intense years of his racing career. 4 consecutive world championships, a streak that placed his name alongside the greatest in Formula One history. During that dominant run, Red Bull firmly established itself as the team to beat, stacking up victories, breaking records, and imposing a supremacy that reminded fans of other golden eras in the sport. Every race weekend felt almost inevitable. Verstappen would start, lead, and cross the finish line, leaving no chance for his rivals. Yet what once looked like an unshakable dynasty suddenly changed. The 4-time champion now faces a reality few would have predicted, accepting that his team is no longer the unstoppable powerhouse it used to be. And so the inevitable question arises: was this acceptance a mature choice, or simply resignation forced by the circumstances? What has happened to Red Bull in the year 2025 is being described by many analysts as one of the sharpest declines in recent Formula One history. Only 12 months ago, the Milton Keynes squad seemed untouchable, with Verstappen collecting victories almost automatically and giving the impression that their dominance could last for years. Now, under the leadership of Laurent Mekies, who stepped in after months of internal turmoil that shook the very foundations of the team, the picture looks very different. Advisor Helmut Marko even stated publicly that Verstappen has no chance of fighting for the championship this season. That's symbolic. The driver who ruled over the last 4 years is officially out of the battle for a 5th consecutive crown. Commentator Alex Jacques provided a revealing perspective on how Verstappen is handling this moment. He emphasized that the Dutchman not only understood but truly internalized that Red Bull has entered a rebuilding process which could stretch over multiple seasons. The most striking part of Jacques' analysis is this: had Verstappen not reached that acceptance, he would have left the team. In other words, the most dominant driver of modern Formula One seriously considered walking away from the project that took him to the top of the world. That fact alone shows how deeply the internal crisis affected him and how patience in this case became a risky gamble. The Hungarian Grand Prix offered a clear portrait of this new reality. Verstappen, long used to battling for victories and podiums nearly every weekend, finished only 9th. For someone who almost never ended a race outside the top 3 when he reached the checkered flag, that result represented far more than a bad day. It was confirmation that the glory years are gone, at least for now. Jacques even described the performance as the lowest point we've seen from Red Bull in a very long time in terms of pure competitiveness. But how did Red Bull reach this point? The reasons lie in a combination of factors. Internally, the team went through painful changes. Key figures departed, management was reshaped, stability was lost, and technical focus was fractured. All of this translated directly into poorer on-track results. At the same time, rival teams capitalized. McLaren stepped up and became the new benchmark, with Lando Norris and Oscar Piastri making the most of their papaya-colored machine. Ferrari, strengthened by the arrival of Lewis Hamilton alongside Charles Leclerc, also rose to a new level and became a constant threat. Mercedes, even amid its own adjustments, remains a difficult opponent to beat. The balance of power shifted. Red Bull's current strategy for the future also reveals the scale of its issues. Much of its resources are already directed toward the new power unit project set to debut in 2026. That means the present car is not receiving full attention. The priority is no longer salvaging immediate performance, but preparing the organization for the next regulatory era. For the remaining 10 races of this season, the team promises some upgrades, but expectations are modest, incremental progress rather than sweeping transformation. During that same Hungarian Grand Prix weekend, Verstappen confirmed that he will remain with Red Bull in 2026, shutting down rumors of a possible move to Mercedes. Yet this decision carries not just strategic weight, but also emotional significance. Jacques suggested that the Dutchman is partially resigned to what he's experiencing this season, though he still hopes to see signs of recovery. It's almost a poetic way of saying that Verstappen knows he must endure frustration and pain now in order to try and rise again later. Behind the scenes, a debate lingers. Does this acceptance demonstrate maturity or simply a lack of better options? Verstappen could have chosen another path, but would Mercedes really have guaranteed immediate success? The truth is that the entire Formula One grid is in transition. Emotional ties and loyalty to Red Bull may have weighed just as heavily as cold technical analysis. Max knows the team's structure inside out, has strong relationships with engineers and mechanics, and understands that, despite the downturn, there remains enormous potential for recovery. This context also offers lessons for other drivers. If even Red Bull, a team that dominated so absolutely, can lose ground so quickly, what does that say for the rest? The message is clear. Nothing is permanent in Formula One. Verstappen's teammate Yuki Tsunoda faces an even tougher challenge, having to prove his worth in a car clearly less competitive than in previous seasons. Jacques' observation that Verstappen wants to see a team operating efficiently highlights another crucial aspect. The issue is not only raw speed, but organizational competence. The internal turbulence has cast doubt on Red Bull's ability to execute strategies effectively, deliver high-quality upgrades, and maintain the sharp focus required to compete at the top. For Verstappen, as the natural leader of the team, it is vital to see tangible evidence that the structure is coming back together. When people say Verstappen knew what he was getting into by renewing, it underlines his clear awareness of the road ahead. The challenge is no longer to rack up wins every weekend, but to help rebuild an entire squad. That shift in mindset is a huge psychological test for someone accustomed to living at the top. Keeping motivation alive in this situation requires exceptional mental strength. How do you stay focused when the goal has shifted from immediate titles to steady, step-by-step improvement? This season serves as a reminder that even the greatest champions must endure adversity. Verstappen now tastes a reality that few in his generation have faced, falling from the peak of success to a far more modest place. How he handles it could shape not just the continuation of his career, but the legacy he leaves behind. After all, winning with the fastest car is expected. The true measure of greatness is showing resilience when everything seems against you. What Red Bull and Verstappen are going through today goes far beyond a simple dip in performance. It's a case study in adaptation, resilience, and the unforgiving realities of elite sport. While rivals seize the chance created by Red Bull's decline, Verstappen must reinvent his approach and reshape his expectations. The question is whether this experience will transform him into an even more complete driver or mark the beginning of an early downturn. And now it's your turn. What do you think about this new phase in the four-time champion's career? Share your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any detail of this unpredictable Formula One season, where nothing feels certain and every race brings new surprises.